There's certain characters, you think about it, in movies or TV shows also, that manage to really stand out and be memorable despite not having a lot of screen time. Here's a great example. Oogway in the Kung Fu Panda movies, a character that I've talked about before because I did a video talking about characters that are a paragon. Oogway's an example of this. Also, the character really manages to stand out and be memorable, despite the fact that throughout the three Kung Fu Panda movies, he doesn't actually have a ton of screen time. It's not like he's one of the characters that has an arc. He doesn't grow or change throughout the course of the story. The point of his character is that he's past that. There's no room left for him to grow. He's already been through all this. The actor here does a great job of making the most out of every single moment, out of every single sequence that his character is in. Makes the most of every line of dialogue. So the character really stands out despite not being the main character in any of the movies or the TV shows. Also, if you look at How to Train Your Dragon show, DreamWorks Dragons, the last 6 seasons of the show are titled Race to the Edge. There's a character in there named Vigo Grimborn, leader of the Dragon Hunters, the big group that's opposed to the Dragon Riders throughout that show. Vigo doesn't actually have a ton of screen time. He only shows up in a few episodes. Usually he tends to only appear in like the final episode, maybe a few others. But despite not having much screen time, the actor does a great job of making the most out of every moment he has, and thus the character really stands out and is memorable despite not having a lot of screen time. Also, think about Eddie Munson from Stranger Things Season 4. This is a pretty impressive example, I would say, because, I mean, throughout the whole season, the season is, 5 hours long, something like that? I think it's more than 5 hours. A long time. But throughout the whole season, Eddie Munson has, 20 minutes of screen time? And yet, he is so memorable. People came to love the character so much. They connected with him so much to the point that many people have dressed up as Eddie Munson. He's not the main character in the season. He's one of the side characters who doesn't have a lot of screen time, but many people have connected with him so much. People fell in love with Joseph Quinn because he played Eddie Munson for just a little bit in that season. Also, another great example is think about Jack Nicholson's character in A Few Good Men. Colonel Nathan Jessup is the name of the character. He shows up in the movie for 10 minutes, and that's it in this 2-hour-long movie. But Jack Nicholson stands out so much as Colonel Nathan Jessup. In particular, that last scene where he's on the stand with Tom Cruise's character, trying to remember the name of Lieutenant Caffey. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, so Caffey's questioning Colonel Nathan Jessup. That's one of the most memorable courtroom scenes of all time. Jack Nicholson makes the most out of every single moment that he has, and he actually makes a big impact. Impressive considering he shows up for so little of the movie.